Hey guys, this is Chef Dom from 12 Tomatoes, here making chicken tinga today. Chicken tinga is a braised chicken dish made with tomatoes and chipotles. The chipotles give it a nice smoky flavor, so it adds this like nice sweet heat and this nice smokiness to the dish that it goes great in tacos, enchiladas, you name it, soups, whatever you want. It is so good. So let's get started. So first thing we need to do to get started is we need to season our chicken. So here we have some chicken thighs. I already deboned these chicken thighs because no need to hassle with any bone. I'm gonna keep the skin on though so we can get a nice crispy sear on it and then release some of the fat from the chicken skin to add to the flavor of the braise, because this is also a braised dish, so this is gonna take a couple hours for this to go over and to fall apart and for all those flavors to infuse together. Gonna take our salt and we're just gonna sprinkle. We wanna go nice and high. The higher you go with your salt, the more it spreads all over the chicken. We always wanna use like a kosher or a sea salt, something coarse, so that when you are seasoning, that you make sure you get a full surface area of the chicken. And we're gonna go on with some crushed pepper. Gorgeous. All right, chicken seasoned. We're gonna turn our induction burner on. We're gonna go as high as we possibly can. We wanna get a really nice sear on this skin. So we're looking for golden brown. We're looking for a lot of fat extraction. What we're gonna do is actually we're gonna take the skin and we're gonna chop it up and incorporate it into the sauce because it adds such a nice richness and fattiness into the sauce. It's like built-in chicken flavor. All right, so I'm gonna add some oil to the Dutch oven here. Give the oil a little swirl around the pot. So our pan is nice and hot. We're gonna add in our boneless chicken thighs. Skin side down. And so we season the top of the chicken skin. That way we don't have to flip it around back and forth, losing so much salt in the pan. We're actually just gonna season it right in the pot. So underside, give it a little salt, hit it with a little salt, a little pepper. All right, we're gonna wait until the skin underneath and we can see gets really nice and brown. The skin is going to stick to the pot, do not be nervous. It will release once it's fully cooked. You might have to give it a little jiggle, but it will release, don't you worry. We're sizzling, we're crisping. This should take about 4 to 5 minutes, especially when you first put a cold piece of chicken in the pan, it's gonna take the longest. When we flip it, it'll probably take another like 3 minutes. We're not looking to fully cook the chicken here. All we're looking to do is get some color on this chicken. So one, we can get the crispy chicken skin really nice and crispy, but also two, we can develop some caramelization on the chicken. That way there are some little nooks and crannies for the sauce to stick to the chicken. When you have a lot of chicken in the pot, make sure all ranges aren't very even. So make sure you rotate the pot a bit. Make sure you change up where the heat source is kind of directing to, so you get an even browning on all of the chicken that you're cooking. All right, we're gonna take a peek at these chicken thighs. Little wiggle. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, that crisp. Who are we? Oh yeah, the crispy skin on this? I'm a pro. All right, our chicken has been cooking now for about 3 minutes on the other side. We are gonna pull our chicken out. Look at that color. Oh baby. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's what we're looking for with a nice browning. That's what we want. Okay, and then check this out. Look at all of this fat that we have in our pot now. So this is kind of added to our oil that we have that's gonna help flavor our onions. So we're gonna lower the temp. We don't need to keep this super high. We're gonna add in our diced onion. All right, onions in. Gonna swirl them around. So all of these gorgeous brown bits at the bottom, this is where all of that chicken skin sat at. We're gonna scrape these up with all of our onions. The onions are gonna release plenty of water. That's gonna help soak all of this fond off of the bottom of the pan. Fond is basically just like remnants of leftover protein, in this case chicken, that's stuck to the pan that adds to the flavor and the whole component of this braised dish. So delish. So we're just gonna cook these for a couple minutes, just until we get these onions transparent. Okay, so our onions are moving and grooving. I switched to a spatula here. These little sneaky onions on the side, those are the burnt onions. You gotta get those down there. There we go, we're getting some browning happening. Okay, great. So now we're gonna add in our garlic cloves, our minced garlic cloves. Gonna let these cook for about a minute. Oh yeah. You know you're cooking when you got some onions and garlic in a nice big pot. Oh baby. So the next thing we're gonna do to this is we're gonna toast our spices. So we have 3 spices that we're gonna throw into here: some cumin, some coriander, and some oregano. We're gonna throw in some cumin, some coriander, and our oregano. And what we're doing here is we're just letting these spices bloom a bit. So toasting spices in oil help bring out a lot of the flavors in the spices, help reawaken really old spices that have been sitting in your cabinet for a while. But it also adds so much more depth of flavor to the braise. So we just need to do this for a little bit. Oh baby, I can smell that cumin. We're gonna let this keep going for another minute or so. I wanna talk to you about some chipotles. So these are chipotles. I chopped them up. Chipotles, if you didn't know, are smoked jalapenos. The jalapenos soak up a lot of adobo sauce, so it adds this like rich, smoky element and kind of milds the spicy down, honestly. We're gonna add in our tomato product. I have crushed tomatoes here. Works best. We don't need to be blending anything if we don't have to. And we're gonna add in our whole can of chipotles in adobo. Oh yeah. So at this point, when we add in our liquid into a nice hot pan, we need to bring this up to the boil. So we need to get this temperature up to the same temperature as all of our other ingredients. So we're gonna bring this up to a boil and immediately reduce it to a simmer. We don't need to evaporate out any water in these flavors. We really just need this sauce to be our braising liquid. Okay, so at this point, we are gonna taste our braise. We wanna make sure that we have a nice salty flavor. Oh my God. Delicious, chipotle-y, not too spicy, not too wild. Definitely need some salt. When you're adding in raw canned tomato, you definitely need to add salt in there, don't you forget it. Don't go crazy on salt. Don't go crazy, because this will reduce a little bit, and you definitely wanna make sure that it's not gonna be too salty. So I'm gonna reduce this down to the simmer. Okay, so the sauce has been simmering now for a couple minutes. I pulled the skin off of our chicken thighs, and we have and chopped it up really fine. And we have our chicken skin. Look how gorge. This is just like adding minced garlic. You're not even gonna taste it. We're gonna shred this chicken in the end, and you're just gonna have little nice bites of like chicken fat. Oh my God. So we're gonna mix that into the sauce. We're gonna add in our bay leaf. When we're braising foods, bay leaves are just really nice to add a nice like herby eucalyptus vibe to the pot. And it really helps as this cooks low and slow. Bay leaf in. And then we're gonna put our chicken thighs in. So we wanna nestle these chicken thighs into our sauce. just like so. Any leftover drippings that you have from the plate, make sure you add them right back in there. That is chicken flavor. And I'm just gonna kind of build on top of this chicken a little bit of this tomato that we've done here. So for a true braise, you wanna make sure that the protein isn't fully submerged in water. So the chicken isn't fully submerged in a stew. It's half cooking in the stew and it's half out of the stew. That way we still end up with nice crisp pieces of chicken that can still grab that sauce. Nice caramelized pieces of chicken like we see here. Okay, so at this point, we are gonna lower the heat to the lowest possible setting, or if you wanted to put this in the oven, you can set your oven to about 325 and cook this for 2 to 3 hours, checking on it once or twice, just to make sure that there's still some liquid in here. So for us, we're just gonna braise this in a pot with the lid on. At the lowest setting, a very low simmer. We want to check on this pot once or twice to make sure that none of the water has evaporated and the sauce is burning on the bottom. So if your sauce is looking a little pasty, it's looking a little dry, feel free to add a couple tablespoons of water to the mixture. It's not gonna hurt it. It'll just help protect this chicken from burning. So I'm gonna put this on the burner and let it cook for about 2 hours, and we'll come back to it and shred it. All right, guys, we're gonna finish up our tinga. It's been braising for about 2 hours now. This is what our finished product looks like. It looks so good. The tomatoes has kind of caramelized along the sides. This is exactly what we want. This is exactly what we want. The sauce started to be sticking to the bottom, so we just turned it off. Not gonna affect it too badly. And then we're just gonna go full on in with these forks and start shredding. And this is why we use dark meat. Dark meat, you can't really overcook it. It's gonna have plenty of moisture. When you use white meat, it doesn't have as much fat as dark meat does. And it adds this. It adds the chance for you to dry out your chicken. And we don't like that. That's not cute. It's not where we want to be with this chicken. Plenty of shreddy chicken throughout this. We also have that chicken skin mixed in here. That where? Point it out. Tell me where it's at. Now this meat is ready for enchiladas. This meat is ready for tacos. This meat is ready to be frozen for a rainy day. You can prep enchiladas, put this in the freezer and pull it out to bake for a quick, easy weeknight meal. Some Tinga chicken enchiladas stuffed with some cheddar cheese. Do anything with this chicken Tinga. Try it out at home. Let us know if you like it. Okay, so we're all shredded up. Let me give this a taste. The best part. Shred it to however you want it to be. The heat, the tomato, the sweetness from the tomato, the heat from the chipotle comes in after, but that chicken, this is so amazing. To brighten this up, add a quick squeeze of lime juice to tone down the spiciness. Add a little bit of honey to this. This is so good, and trust me, you are going to love this when you make it. So try this at home and let us know what you thought about it in the comments. What did you do with it? What did you make with it? And I hope you enjoyed.
12 tomatoes.